Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our fourth match of the night. And this program is brought to you by THQ. I have to say, the fans are amazing here in St. John's, here in Newfoundland, in Canada. But our next match is going to be a tag team match, and it will feature the Zuits, Mr. Rogers and Bob Barker. And as far as Bob is concerned, well, in addition to Alex Trebek, he's also had problems going into the season with Mr. McMahon. And Mr. McMahon has enlisted the services of one Mankind. And yes, that is his name. I'm not joking. For those of you who have never seen Mankind, Mankind's the one in the mask, as you can see. But with that said, we'll find out whether or not Bob and Vince will fight each other. I don't know. We'll see. But let's begin. And we begin with Bob Barker and Mankind. Now, for those of you who have no idea of what Mankind is capable of, let me tell you, he's capable of doing anything. And I mean anything. I mean, first things first, he'll try to do simple things to hurt you, such as that, but it's usually when Mankind is on the defensive, that's when he's really dangerous. I mean, for him to simply beat you up is one thing, but if you're beating him up and he knows that he's in trouble, he'll do anything to reverse that and really put the hurting on you. So either he puts the hurting on you and beats you flat out, or if you take him to the limit, he'll be more than happy to take it to yours. So for Bob, he's got to be very careful with Mankind, because if Mankind builds any momentum, Bob is in deep trouble, and so would Mr. Rogers. But right now it's Bob who's in trouble, but Bob got out of it. But I mean, let me say this. Bob has went up against some of the greatest wrestlers, you know, ever since he started wrestling back in 1969, when my grandfather, the Jew, that was his wrestling name, by the way. My father, I should say, sorry. Then again, I'm starting to get concussions, or then again, my concussions are starting to get the better of me. I mean, it just goes to show, you know, how much head trauma I have. But enough about me. What I'm trying to say is that my dad, when he first started out, he was unable to get any superstars, you know, from, you know, at the time, like in the late 60s, but he was fortunate enough to have a Bob Barker, who at the time was a lesser known superstar than he is right now, as well as Mr. Rogers. So he scored big with Mr. Rogers and Bob Barker to such a degree that when they started feuding with each other, and yes, they did feud with each other, and they did it for 15 long years. It was all because of, you know, the programming. You know, it was all about television ratings at the time, because, you know, you have so many channels nowadays with cable and everything like that, but back then, you didn't have so many channels that you had a variety. The thing is, you had the public broadcasting service, or no, the public broadcasting station, sorry, which featured Mr. Rogers' show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and then you had CBS, which featured The Price is Right, which Bob Barker was the host of, and still hosts today. And it was because of the television wars that it led to the war between those two, Bob and Mr. Rogers. And I have to say that after 15 years of fighting each other, they came to respect each other to such a degree that they became teammates, and they've been ever since 1987, all the way up to now. And Mankind, double hip toss, ooh, then a kick, right to the back and right to the sternum. But Bob has got to be careful. I mean, The thing about Mankind is that, you know, he can take the punishment, but it's when he gives it to you after taking punishment that he becomes very dangerous. So Bob has got to be very careful with Mankind. In fact, he would probably be better served to let Mankind tag out, but because, I mean, really, if you don't put away Mankind as soon as you can, Mankind is going to run all over you, man. And I really mean that. In fact, now he tags out to Mr. McMahon, and now we have the feud that we've been waiting for. But McMahon gets whipped onto the Zuit's corner. And Bob, inverted atomic drop. Then a scoop slam right to McMahon. And now what's Bob going to do here? He's going to go for the cover on McMahon. One, no. Just a 1 count on Vince McMahon. And yes, I can call him Vince McMahon because, you know, I do own, you know, I do, how do I put this? I'm his boss, okay? You know, because in the 5th dimension that is real life, you know, he owns the World Wrestling Federation, but you know what? In this universe, I own him. So, right now, Mr. McMahon is in deep trouble on the outside with both Zoot suits all at once. And now Mankind's going to join the fray as he throws Bob Barker back into the ring. Throws Mr. Rogers into the barricade. And Mankind's just going to go to work on Mr. Rogers, but Bob defending his partner. And now it's turned into a war on the outside. Rammed into the post is Bob Barker. Yeah, all 4 men are on the outside. And I don't like it a damn bit. I mean, try to keep it in the ring, man. Come on, guys. And now McMahon, realizing the count is on him, gets back into the ring, and now Bob gets back in the ring as well. So both men beat the count, but I have to think that Bob is in deep trouble now. And wait a minute, Bob is going for it. He's put away many men with this one. The Moneymaker! The Moneymaker! But wait a minute. Mr. McMahon did kick out, so I don't think the Moneymaker was as effective as it would have been if Bob was a bit fresher at this point. But now McMahon has the physical advantage, being that he's hardly been in the ring for quite a while. Ooh, and a huge uppercut right to Mr. McMahon. And Bob, knowing that he's in trouble, tags out right to Mr. Rogers, sorry. Once again, my concussions are getting the better of me. The Neighborhood Slam. The Neighborhood Slam. That's what he calls that spine buster. The Neighborhood Slam onto McMahon. And now, wait, what's he doing here? He's going for, what's he doing? Oh, a hammerlock chinlock combination. I have to say, that hurts like hell, I'm telling you. Because when someone puts that on you, for one, it's bad enough your arm hurts, but when your chin and your head is compromised, it hurts like hell, I'm telling you. Thrown into his own corner is Mr. McMahon. And now, wait a minute, he's got the $1 Million Dream and in fact, it was Bob who taught him that move. Then again, Mr. Rogers, you know, back in his days with the feud, you know, with Bob Barker, you know, Bob always used that move on Mr. Rogers, and now Mr. Rogers is using it on Mr. McMahon. And now Mr. Rogers tags out to Bob Barker, and now Bob can get his revenge on McMahon, but McMahon is, I have to say, McMahon is in much better shape. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. That shot busted open Bob, and Mr. McMahon just takes him down. So now it's Bob who's in deep trouble right now, and no, kick out by Bob Barker. And now McMahon, what the hell is McMahon doing? Well, he tags out to Mankind, and Bob is tagging out to Mr. Rogers. So now it's Mankind and Mr. Rogers. And oh no, wait a minute. Double arm DDT onto Mr. Rogers. And this could do it, I don't know. 1, 2. No, kick out by Mr. Rogers. Well, Mr. Rogers is going to have to do some work on Mankind because right now his partner is not doing too well. I mean, no, now he tags out to Mr. McMahon, which is probably a good idea, or which is probably what the Zoot Suits were hoping for at this point. Inverted atomic drop onto McMahon, but caught by Mr. Rogers. Then he just pokes him right in the eye. Come on. Come on, ref. I tell you one thing. It's a crazy match, I will say that. I anticipated it would be. Now McMahon whipped into their corner. And now McMahon whips Mr. Rogers into his corner. And he does it again. But Mr. Rogers gets out of it and delivers a neck breaker on McMahon. And now, wait a minute. 1. No, kick out by McMahon. A side headlock takedown onto McMahon. McMahon just counters with a rake in the eyes. But then a crossbody with a pinfall cover. No, not even a 1 count on McMahon. Now McMahon, realizing he's in trouble, tags out to Mankind. Okay, I don't get the logic in that, but now McMahon whipped into his own corner and rammed shoulder first into the post, and Mr. Rogers kind of missed there. But Mr. McMahon pushes him away, and a spinning neck breaker onto Mr. Rogers. And now, Mr. Rogers got up. I don't know how, but he did. And a scoop slam with authority onto Mr. McMahon, or Mr. Rogers, sorry, onto Mr. Rogers. I'm sorry I got my misters confused, but wait a minute. Wow, what an excellent series of moves onto McMahon by Mr. Rogers. And now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What happened here? Oh, wait a minute. The referee just disqualified the Zoot Suits because Bob Barker, well, yeah, Bob didn't get back into the corner like he was supposed to. In fact, he was just standing there, but then again, the blood must have really gotten to him. And instead of going back into the corner like he was supposed to, he failed to answer the 5 count, and the match is over in the favor of Mr. McMahon and Mankind. So it counts as a loss against Bob Barker onto Mr. McMahon. So as of now, the feud is 1-0 in the favor of Mr. McMahon. But we'll find out if Bob can get his revenge next time, if we ever have a match between those two. But until then, stay tuned for the main event. That's going to be coming up. Wait, what? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry guys. I forget what I just said. Stay tuned for the next match. That's going to be coming up right after this.